Good morning. Welcome back to Entrepreneur Country TV. We had a great launch last week. Thanks so much if you tuned in, and if you forwarded it on to your friends, thanks a lot. We feel that we're on to a great start. Last week was full of a lot of travel for me. Paris, Madrid, Miami, San Francisco, Sacramento, Los Angeles, and back to London. I thought I would share with you this morning what I did last week, where I went, and what I made of it. When I sat down with the very smart people over at Sanofi Innovation last week in Paris, I was intrigued to get the insight into why they decided to do the deal with Google to tackle diabetes. But I couldn't help but think about Trialreach, a digital enabler where Keith Lovell, who many of you know was the CFO at Shazam, has recently gone to. Trialreach is also providing solutions for clinical trials in diabetes. You can be sure that digital enablers like Trialreach partnering with large companies like Sanofi and healthcare will provide even better economics in the building of those digital P&Ls. Similarly, when I met with Alexandre Templier over at Quinten, who is building a data science business which enables a pharma company to determine the efficacy and the productivity and profitability of consumer segments. And that led me to just reflect on really how all business, as it's becoming platform, is shifting from just selling products to delivering value for users. But I also saw John Brox's over at my bank, who's selling verification services through banks. And I wondered, will our genetic healthcare data become more important than our financial data as the key fundamental building block of our identity online? Shift happens, but how it happens and who wins, who gets the economics of it is what matters to me. That's what we're going after at Entrepreneur Country. We see a future where these things are sorted out between the solutions that entrepreneurs are driving and large business, which opens up with the help of the insight of those entrepreneurs in building ecosystem economics companies. And then I went on to Madrid, and I sat down with Alberto Rodriguez de Lama, the founder of Nexium, which was acquired by Nielsen in late 2014. Nexium was a software company focused on consumer insights, marketing services in the retail sector. They became so strategic to their customers that Nielsen took note. What's particularly interesting about Nexium is that they understood that all B2B businesses were ultimately B2C2B. Once again, we see that great entrepreneurs can figure out the future anywhere on the planet. Madrid may not be known for its retail tech. It may not be known for its software. But here you had Alberto Rodriguez and his team plugging away, coming to the attention of a world-class company like Nielsen because they had excellent sales, excellent product, and deep consumer insight into where the world was going. You may have seen that article in the Financial Times last week on Rocket Internet. Oliver Samwer, the CEO and founder, was quoted as saying, "We are the only European player with significant size to build great businesses and keep a large share of it." Well, I take that as a personal challenge. Entrepreneur Country is also targeting the build of great businesses in Europe. We take a different view to the B2C thesis that Rocket Internet has. The big 9/10 of the iceberg which has not yet gone digital. These companies that are pharma, transportation, retailers, etc., that are not platforms, are not yet enjoying network effects and exponential growth, that they need the digital enablers of Europe to open them up and to give them those digital P&Ls. Dell announced an intention to buy EMC last week, and sure enough, the tide of creative destruction is coming to large IT companies as well. Just because you're tech doesn't mean that you're infallible, invincible, and don't fall to the forces of the future. It's not clear what the Dell EMC deal will do to those two companies or to the future, but what is certain is that cloud computing with a radically different business model is transforming the technology industry, because the technology industry is no longer an industry. It's a layer which is affecting all business. We're having great response to our Build a Country challenge focused on the smart home this quarter and next. We have had lots of digital enablers, startups from all over the continent, Finland to Greece, Madrid to Dublin. Basically, people that are in property tech, home decoration, IoT, energy, utilities, companies that are fundamentally transforming the platform, which is your home. If you are a startup, whether or not you're looking for funding or not, come see us. Go to entrepreneurcountryglobal.com. You'll see the Build a Country challenge. Please register to be part of it. There's opportunities for office space, for funding, to be showcased, to meet your peer group, and most importantly, to meet the partners through whom you can go to market. Last Thursday evening, I gave the closing keynote in Berlin at a venture capital event, and I was asked to speak about the future of venture capital, something that I've been participating in for 18 years here in Europe. I met up again with my friend Peter Janes. Many of us are huge fans of Peter. He raised 7 million sterling not too long ago from Notion and Octopus to build Shoppa, a social shopping space. One of the key strategic questions that Shoppa had, which perhaps led to its ultimate demise, was whether or not money was enough to create the marketplace, or whether or not we had come to that point in the cycle, the Carlota Perez cycle, where the empire is striking back, and there's enough value in the existing estate or the digital platforms that the money was never going to create a marketplace. It was always about being a digital enabler to existing retail. Regardless of the strategic positioning and what went wrong, there was one lesson that I wanted to share with you all, and that is when you've got the money, you close the money. You don't give extra credit time to people who are thinking about it for a couple of weeks. In 15 years that I've spent helping entrepreneurs get funded, I've seen some tragedies and I've seen some good luck stories. But when you got the money, close the money. I went to see Everything not too long ago. Many of you will remember Niall Murphy from his days building the cloud with George Polk. He and his co-founder Andy Hobsbawm, who built way back in ancient history agency.com, have come together over the past couple of years to build Everything, which has been backed by Atomico. What Everything are doing is pretty special. It's another play in this whole IoT space. We know that all of the objects around us are really essentially unstructured data. They're all going to be structured. They're going to become essentially nodes in a network. And all of it is going to be put into frameworks which enable us to connect and transact. It's great to see entrepreneurs that have been successful in previous businesses go back into the burning building, go back in and solve another bigger problem. That's all for the second edition of Entrepreneur Country TV. Please share with your friends and come back next Monday at 8 a.m.